Hello everybody, it is Skull Queen and welcome back to another video on my channel. I am very excited about today's build because I am going to be recreating a kitchen from the TV show Hannibal. And if you aren't aware of who Hannibal Lecter is, he is a psychiatrist who's very classy, very clean, kind of uppity, but he also happens to be a serial killer slash cannibal. So of course I thought that would be perfect for my house. So today I'm going to be recreating his kitchen. I'll be popping in and out to add some thoughts and commentary, but I hope you guys enjoy. The one thing I knew going into this build was that I wanted that kitchen island right in the middle of the room, so that is what I placed first, and then I thought I was going to be using this kitchen stove, but the silver color on it was just throwing me off, and I don't believe it comes in a black customization. So I went with the stonework kitchen because the black and copper color that it comes in is just so good, and with the height that it adds, I thought I needed to anchor the other side of that wall as well, so I ended up actually crafting another one so that it would be even on both sides. And I think it came out really cute. I started with this ironwood cupboard right in the middle of the two kitchens, but the beige color was just throwing me off a little bit, so I ended up replacing that with some Nordic shelves, which I think look a lot better. And then obviously, if we're going to be cutting up and cooking these people, we're going to need the proper equipment, so I began placing the rest of that along the edges of the walls. For this back wall, I really just wanted to have a sofa so that we would have a place to lounge after all of the hard work of prepping and cooking these bodies. So you can see that I played around with the vintage and cool sofa, but I ended up going with the vintage because it was a little bit less impeding on the rest of the views. And then I moved on to placing some items on the walls, and I'll be honest with you, this editing mode I am not very good at using. So you'll see that I place a lot of the items in the wrong spots and I have to kind of pick them up again. And it's a lot of trial and error per usual, but I really do think it starts to come together. For this back corner, I really wanted to add some height to kind of anchor it down and balance out the two stonework kitchens that are on the other side. I thought this tension pole rack was perfect because the color of the wood kind of matched the copper on the other side of the room to me, so I was really happy with that. And then of course we cannot cook these bodies without having the proper equipment, so I'm placing some of that around. We have some knives, some measuring cups, some bowls, we have a scale, and then I also start placing more knives along the walls, and this is when everything just comes to life. Or death, you know. This stew pot that I placed on the counter kind of completes the whole build to me because it looks like a huge batch of just like human soup, which is pretty gross, but it's perfect for this build. And then I'm grabbing some more accessories to start putting on the walls and the ceilings. Now, this wouldn't be Hannibal's kitchen without at least a few victims, I mean obviously. So I start with placing a skeleton, I also use an anatomical model, and then a creepy skeleton gets used somewhere else later in this build. And the glowy moss jar item in this red customization kind of looks like a jar of parts or blood, so I of course had to use that. And then I began placing some more cannibal-esque items on the rest of the walls. Moving on to the ceilings, I wanted to add a lot of bougie lighting because, like I said earlier, Hannibal is very wealthy, very uppity, and I thought that his lighting should reflect that. So I'm placing a few spotlights along with a chandelier, of course, and I just love how this whole area starts to look. Now I'm just placing some final finishing touches and this build will be complete. This was so much fun to recreate. I really wanted a lot of items that represented blood, and with this new update I think that there are plenty. This tomato puree ended up being absolutely perfect on this end table here, and I just hope you guys enjoyed watching this process as much as I enjoyed creating it. Right, here is our final product, and I am just so proud of how this came out, and to be honest with you, I think it's really amazing that it looks so cohesive, given that I'm using furniture from so many different collections. But you can see that we have our victims, we have the product from our victims, we have plenty of accessories and cooking equipment to prep and cook our victims with, and I just love how this whole room came out. That is going to do it for today's video. If you're still here, thank you so much. Please consider subscribing so you can see more from me in the future, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!